In today's Leeds news, new record commercial deal, Leeds avoid additional Kamara payment, Anthony farewell message, Tanaka linked again, and Charlie Crew gets call up. Morning folks, Jay here, Thursday morning the 30th of May with your Leeds United news. A fair bit to get into, we won't muck about, we'll get cracking and we'll start off with the breaking news this morning that Leeds have secured a record deal in the Championship or in the EFL's history for a commercial deal. Late last night rumours came out that Leeds United may be about to announce the biggest commercial deal in EFL history, which would probably make one of the biggest in Leeds history. Now Phil Hay from the Delic, as well as Leeds United themselves and multiple sources, have now confirmed that global soft drink giants Red Bull have struck a deal to purchase a minority stake in Leeds United and will sponsor the club's shirts next season. The company is said to have sealed the investment, which will see it join Leeds' existing investment pool. Sources close to Athletic who spoke to them under anonymity said that the 49ers and Red Bull had been in talks for a considerable amount of time, that they were poised to close a successful deal resulting in a firm securing of a stake in Leeds. The deal will go ahead despite Leeds United failing to reach the Premier Division, and Red Bull will replace Boxed as the front of shirt sponsor next season. Red Bull did try to purchase Leeds before. They tried to buy Leeds back under GFH and under Massimo Cellino without actually ever putting a formal bid in place, but you can understand that after due diligence was probably done and the club was a bit of a mess. But they did try to get them before. The Athletic have been told, and this is the really, really, really important part of this, and this will alleviate any fears that people may have. The Athletic have been told that Red Bull will not be given a seat at the boardroom table as part of their share acquisition, and that changing the club's name, shirt colour or stadium name will not be open to discussion in any respect, which will be the big worry that everybody will have. Red Bull Leeds, Eleanor becoming Red Bull Stadium, none of that. Actually, it's very hard to do it under the governing rules from England. Anyway, if you look at what the Hull City owner tried to do years ago and tried to change Hull's name from Hull City to Hull City Tigers, and it just wasn't allowed to happen. So it's not that easy to do, but people do have a significant worry about that, but this at least puts that to bed for now. Anyway, Phil Hayes said that the investment is a financially significant one, and on the official Leeds United site, Leeds have said the following. Today, Leeds United Football Club is proud to announce a multi-year agreement with Red Bull, making the club's front of shirt partner next season. Today's announcement that Red Bull will join forces with Leeds United reinforces the international potential and significance of the club. Beginning in the 24-25 season, Leeds will feature the Red Bull branding on the front of Leeds men's shirt and women's first team kits. Red Bull will also become the club's executive energy drink partner, with branding featured inside Ellen Road during the club's official media appearances. I am thrilled that Red Bull is joining us to build a bright future for Leeds United and shares our deep respect for this truly special club, said Parag Marathe, chairman of Leeds United. As chairman, our consortium of investment partners will be invaluable to me and as we approach this important moment for the club now and into the future. Red Bull addition is a historic milestone that will further empower the club to reach its full competitive potential. We are delighted to be an important element and partner of Leeds United, a club that is certainly one of the biggest in England and has a rich and successful history. The ambition to bring Leeds United back to the Premier League and establish themselves in the best football league in the world fits very well with Red Bull. We look forward to the partnership and optimistic and energised about the future, said Oliver Mintzlaff, Red Bull CEO of Corporate Products and Investment. The deal brings in commercial revenues as well as additional capital investment for the minority ownership stake that will further enable the club to compete on and off the pitch as the club seek promotion next season. The name and logo of Leeds United Football Club will remain unchanged. That is an important piece of this and the piece that everyone will be digging around to find. The name will not change. Parag Marathe spoke yesterday in his interview with the press, basically saying that Leeds were in a financially fine place and that everything was okay and capital had been secured for next season. You see a deal like this and you see that this is maybe why he was talking about things with such confidence. This is a huge deal for Leeds to be able to get, not only in terms of the sponsorship but the minority investment. We've talked before about you can own a football club but you're not allowed to put all of your money into that club and then have that money be spent on players and transfers and wages. You can put money in to clear debt, but that's there's a proportion on what you're allowed to put in for spending. The way around that is that your owners sponsor the club. You look at Manchester City have done with Etihad Airways. You look at what PSG have done with Qatar. They're all owned by the state. States own the club. They can do it that way. So having an investment opportunity from a partner that's an investor in the actual club, who actually has a stake in the club, means they can pump money into the club through the sponsorship, and that way they can add more revenue into the club for spending power, which is a huge deal. Very important one for Leeds to get. Anyway, we'll move on to the rest of the stories. Leeds have avoided an additional payment for Glen Kamara. This news came out this morning as well. Every cloud has a silver lining. Oh, for this silver lining, you'll have to squint a little bit harder to find it. Leeds' failure to secure promotion into the Premier League being the cloud, but avoiding an additional payment for Glen Kamara, which is the silver lining in this story. Leeds did buy Glen Kamara for £5 million from Rangers last season. However, there was a clause in the contract that should Leeds get promoted to the Premier League, an additional £500,000 would be paid to Rangers. Leeds' failure to get promoted means that additional payment has now been taken off the table, and Leeds will avoid paying £500,000 additionally for Glen Kamara at least this season. A week of farewells and goodbyes from several players, and Jadon Anthony is the latest player to say his farewell to Leeds United. Anthony will head back to Bournemouth next season and has endured a torturous year at Leeds United, not from a playing perspective but just from all of a lack of game minutes, a lack of really ever getting his loan move at Leeds going, wrapped around a year of incredible tragedy for the player with his passing of his mother. And he's had a really tough year for the player, which unfortunately the football side of it didn't relieve any of those problems. But in his Instagram he has said the following about Leeds: "It's an honour to wear the shirt. No secret that this has been the toughest year of my life, but your support has got me through. Not the end that we would have wanted, but I've met some amazing people and created some special memories playing for this club. Thank you, Leeds fans. You are something special." The one interesting one that we haven't seen so far, we talked about this yesterday on Joe's show, is we haven't heard anything from Joe Rodon yet. There's no goodbye message just yet from him, so maybe there is some stuff going on in the background with Joe Rodon. Moving on to potential incomings, and this is a rumour that came out last night. There's a little bit more source, trying to find the sources on this. There's another one that has popped up, but it's pretty loose, and I'll be honest with you on this one, but we'll get into it. Last season, Leeds United were linked with Fortuna Dusseldorf midfielder Ao Tanaka. However, Leeds had put a £3.2 million bid in for the player and looked like the deal would get done. However, Dusseldorf themselves and Tanaka stalled on the deal, and Leeds instead decided to move away from Tanaka, pulled out of the deal, and bought in Glen Kamara. Instead, Dusseldorf's fortunes have not got any easier since then, failing to get promoted to the Bundesliga means that they may have to sell some players. We know what that feeling's like, and according to Hochi News, not the most reliable of sources, and I will make that very clear, but according to Hochi News, Leeds and Everton are keen to bring Tanaka to England. Leeds have been looking for more options for midfield, specifically goal-scoring options for midfield, and Tanaka provides a goal threat from the middle of the park. He scored 7 times and had 4 assists for Dusseldorf this year in 30 games, and has scored 8 goals in 26 appearances for the Japanese international side as well, so he does bring goals from midfield. I'm not sure about the source on this. I don't know if this is a legitimate link. However, if it is, Tanaka's a player I like. I do think he's a good player. I do think he's a tidy player, and he would bring a lot of excitement from midfield for Leeds, so maybe something in that, but we'll keep an eye on it, and I'll give you some detail as and when we get it. And then moving on finally to the last story of today, Charlie Crew has finally got his senior Welsh call-up. It has been said for months that it was a matter of when, not if, Charlie Crew got his international call-up by Wales. Well, the time appears to have been now. Charlie Crew has now received his first senior call-up for the Welsh national side for the senior team, and will join their friendlies over the course of this summer. Crew has made the bench for Leeds several times this year, as well as captain the under-21 side at multiple occasions throughout the season. And it should also be pointed out, Charlie Crew is still 17 years of age and won't turn 18 until June 18th next month. So for another young, exciting player coming through the ranks at Leeds United, who's got an international future ahead of him and hopefully a strong international midfield, you're looking at a midfield at Leeds that could potentially, should everything work, and it is very much hoping at this stage, but you could look at a Leeds United midfield down the line of Archie Gray and Charlie Crew, both players that came through the club, and maybe a front line of Matteo Joseph should he stick around next season, which I'm a little sceptical about, but we'll talk about that at another time. But anyway, folks, massive thanks as always for sticking with me. Let me know what you think about the Red Bull link below, the connection, and the fact that they've just said very clearly no stadium name change, no kit change, none of that. How do you feel about it now? Let me know down below, and I will be back tomorrow morning for more Leeds news. We will be recording the podcast tonight, which will go out over the weekend. The return of the podcast, you can check that out. A few people popping in for that. So anyway, have a great rest of your day. Talk to you tomorrow. See ya. Bye.